Life can be hard, and we've all faced those moments that seem to stop us dead in our tracks. But what if those moments of difficulty, the bad news, could actually be a springboard for something greater? I'm Cam Garven, and each week I'll bring you stories of extraordinary resilience and conversations about lives and ideas that are productive. This is the Productive Lives Podcast. I'm Cam, and today at Productive Lives, I'm catching up with a friend from college, retired Colonel Dave Parramore. Dave went from a small Bible college to flying Black Hawk helicopters and serving as a chief technical officer for the Army Surgeon General. Today, he takes us inside the 8,000-mile operating room, the mission to connect battlefield medical records back to the United States. We talk about military discipline and how his Bible degree became his secret weapon. Well, thank you for joining me, Dave. Today I got a friend from way back when, from college years back at Cairn University. Actually knew my wife and knows us. And so I got a hold of Dave through Facebook, I believe, and just watching his life. Appreciate you being here, Dave, and watching your life on social media, which always looks good. But I'd love to hear from you today and just talk about how your life is productive. So, Dave, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Cameron. Great to be here.
You bet. And my wife says hi.
Hi.
Background, where are you from? What's going on? Where are you living now? Tell us a little bit about that.
We're both old now, Cameron. So it's going to be a minute. We're gonna transition you to long form podcast before the end of today.
This is true.
But yeah, no, grew up Southeast Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. So it was a natural fit to go to Cairn, Philadelphia College of Bible at the time. I think right out of the gate, I took a little bit of a different path in that pursued the military within the scope of Cairn, which was really not part of Cairn's internal mission, but I was able to find an ROTC program at Rider College.
Okay. Yep.
Went to school there, went to for ROTC, and then graduated there and went on active duty. What turned from a 6-year plan turned into a 26-year plan.
Excellent.
It was an honor to serve in just various positions there. I was able to fly helicopters out of the gate. So I flew Black Hawk helicopters for 9 years.
Wow.
And kind of learned discipline from a new perspective, aviation discipline, and that was a lot of fun. And then it was about the year 2000. This would have been back in the 1900s for those who remember that.
Yeah,
we were struggling with this thing called Y2K, if you remember.
That was a big deal. Remember that? We would have been shut down right now. The whole world was
going to stop, and the computers were going to stop, and we were going to lose all our money, and everything was going to happen. It was going to be the end of the world.
Yeah.
And about the same time, I was looking for kind of a career transition within the military. The military was offering graduate school programs, and they're like, "Hey, Dave, we're doing this new thing. We're taking paper medical records and we're going to put them into a computer. Do you want to be part of that?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'll be part of that. That's kind of cool." And now it's a $1 trillion industry. So
yes. And you're making money off of that, Dave?
Not now. I was. We'll get to that point. Yeah. It really launched what I was doing in the military because what we were struggling with in the military, the problems that we were trying to solve was we had a lot of soldiers coming back from battle that had very complex wounds and injuries, and they weren't documented other than on paper.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And so the military was losing paper records in the process of transition. I mean, we all shake our head, but let's be honest, like you live locally and you go see your doctor and your doctor doesn't have records from the hospital. And then you go move across the country, like, well, we got to start over. Yeah. So, think about it. We had 9.6 million beneficiaries in all these countries across the globe and troops going everywhere on the planet.
Yeah.
So we were just trying to solve that problem globally, and while at war. So the Army sent me to graduate school at the University of North Carolina. I had a master's in data science from there. And right out of the gate was 9/11 while I was in graduate school. And so came out of there, deployed within a year after 9/11. And I was in charge of all healthcare IT in Iraq.
Oh, my goodness.
And so we built this thing we called an 8,000-mile operating room from point of injury back to Walter Reed and the Brooke Army Medical Center, where really early, I mean, we're talking, 2004 at the time, where we were trying to connect the dots of soldiers coming back from injuries. Because what was happening is at every stop along the way in the evacuation chain, soldiers would show up at a hospital, in a military hospital, and they would do surgery again because they didn't have the records, they didn't have the x-rays, they didn't have all the things that the patient needed. So the doctor's like, well, I got to start over because I don't have a lot of information. So they were getting 3 and 4 surgeries before they even got to Walter Reed. And meanwhile, the record wasn't being documented, so they get discharged to the military with no service-connected disability in the VA. Meanwhile, they have visible wounds and scars.
Sure.
So my mission was to fix it. So we built this connect the dots from point of injury in Iraq back to Walter Reed and beyond. And we were able to, through, I call it tape and baling wire, put together some systems where doctors could at least see the discharge summaries, the ancillary services provided, all the medications the patients were on. Then we built into radiology reports, and then eventually radiology images, which are big. You got a lot of bandwidth required to move those kind of images. So we did a lot of good work with that, and that kind of launched me into the IT space. And capstone assignment, kind of fast forwarding a little bit, retired in 2014 as the chief technology officer for the Army Surgeon General.
Wow, so that's great. What's your rank at the end?
I was a colonel, full Colonel 06. Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, thanks for serving.
Oh no, it was an honor. It was an honor to serve. And at that time, we were struggling with really the healthcare system in general, and specifically health of Americans and troops and others, really, because we have a healthy population by and large in the military.
Yeah.
But what we were struggling with is we were spending at the time about $60 billion on the military healthcare system in general, for a system that would see patients 20 minutes a year.
Wow.
So you would go see your primary care provider for a 20-minute segment, and we were spending $60 billion on 20 minutes. And so meanwhile, processed food and all the other things start taking over, and lack of exercise and all the other detractors for health were driving up healthcare costs. So we really had a sick care system, not a healthcare system.
Good way to say it.
And it turns out like you're following money, and I don't want to get too in the weeds here because we will be long form after a minute. But what it comes down to is you have really an incentive program based on what physicians get paid to do. So like if you meet with a healthcare provider for 45 minutes and talk about nutrition coaching techniques, they get paid like $20. But if they figure out how to put a stent in your heart because you have some issue, they're going to get paid $5,000 for a 20-minute visit because they refer you to a cardiologist, and it's really upselling at that point. And I'm oversimplifying to an extent, but really the healthcare system is incentivized on pills and procedures.
Yeah.
And then, of course, this was the beginning of the opioid crisis and all of the things associated with that. So I spent the kind of the last of my career on a healthcare to health initiative and using technologies to get into the white space. And those were, at the time, we had activity monitors really coming mainstream with Fitbits and smartwatches and other things. And then as I transitioned from the military, went into, I worked for IBM for a couple of years as an executive, and kind of the same. They were really looking at IBM Watson at the time. They were looking at big data and really getting into the healthcare space by leveraging data to influence health. Then I decided I could do this myself and started my own business. And I was a CEO for a tech company. We did government contracting. I did that for 6 years. And now I'm fully retired and I get to focus on cycling full time.
Yeah, man, what a journey from where was a little Bible school we were at right now. It's a bigger university now.
I know.
And into the military and global stuff. That's productive. How do you see from really, we were at a Bible college and it didn't have ROTC. I went off to Princeton later to be a chaplain. A lot of the kids, even at Princeton, had to go to Rider to get the ROTC. And now I think it's a little bit more helpful that way at the school. But how do you see that foundation, Dave? Because then you went on and got a master's and then in the health field and military. How do you see that integrating?
The thing about Cairn in a Bible college degree is different. And to be honest, I carried this chip on my shoulder for the first half of my career because I'm in flight school with arguably some of the smartest people on the planet.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right? Yeah. Engineers, aeronautical engineers, people that went to these large universities, West Point Military Academy, Big Ten schools, Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you get around the table and you say, where did you go to school? And, and I went to Philadelphia College of Bible. And they're like, why are you here?
Why not?
Right. So I carried it as a chip. It took me 2/3 of my career to realize that I really was underestimating the value of critical thinking. And what a Bible college degree teaches you, apart from the faith-based background of following Jesus above and beyond what the university establishment would teach, I underestimated how much I already knew. Of course, I was pretty competitive at the time, but I ended up graduating first in my flight school class, against all these people.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of ways, the foundation that I learned from a Bible college, right? So it's that big fish in a little pond, little fish in a big pond scenario. And, you're kind of a big fish in a little pond.
Yeah.
And at Cairn, rather than like you're overcome by these large schools and you kind of get swarmed over. But I didn't make that analogy very clear. But the bottom line is I think that's what made the transition. And honestly, later in my career, those same really brilliant people, what's going on with them? They're having marital problems. They're having financial problems. They're having teenage suicides with their kids. Their spouse is getting killed overseas in combat and other things. And so the whole host of life problems that are not inherent to you when you're 20 now become very real. And it turns out they're coming to me for advice at that point, when you're a senior officer.
Sure.
So I can't speak highly enough of that. And I just, from a productive standpoint, I'm just not sure, like looking for the biggest and best is always the best course of action.
We'll clip this out, send it to Karen, and they can use it.
I think they've heard it in part. So it's all good.
No, it's good. It's just fascinating to me where God takes you on your journey. My dad was in the Air Force, and I have relatives in the Navy. I really respect what you've done, and what a time to be in the military. 9/11, Iraq, for good or for bad, we can talk all about that. But God was using you in that. It's incredible to see and to hear how Dave rose through the ranks. But as he said, the higher you get, the more you realize how little you have control. Next time, we go from the military to the movies. Dave shares how a simple act of hospitality led him to the set of The Chosen. See you in part 2. Thank you for listening to the Productive Lives podcast. You can expect new episodes every Monday. And if you like the show, please subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. This helps others like you find the show. The Productive Lives podcast is supported by Productive Lives, where our mission is people serving people, and our vision is to motivate people to improve their lives and the lives of others through servant living and leadership. If you want to live a productive life and help improve the lives of others, visit our website for more information, productivelives.org. The Productive Lives podcast is produced by Studio D Podcast Production and hosted by me, Cam Garven. I'll see you next week for more stories of resilience and conversations about lives and ideas that are productive.